As you might know, my name is Emily, and it was so lovely to meet so many of you at the IGC conference this month. I hope you all walked away with some exciting new ideas for your business. Continuing on with our social media series, today we're going to be talking about hashtags. For the purpose of this video, I will be focusing on the purpose and use of hashtags within Instagram specifically. So a lot of what I say will carry across to Facebook as they are owned by the same company and the algorithm operates in a very similar way. But if you happen to be trying to break into Twitter or TikTok, some of this information may not be as relevant. Now, I know many of you are at different stages and different phases in your Instagram journey, so please refer to the timestamp so you can skip to the part that is most relevant to you. All right, let's dive in. So what is a hashtag? A hashtag is a word or phrase preceded by the hash sign used on social media to identify digital content within a specific topic on Instagram. You have the option of using up to 30 hashtags on a post or reel and up to 10 hashtags on your stories. So for example, if I use the hashtag gardening Australia on my post will then appear within the hashtag topic gardening Australia. Users who search or follow this hashtag or topic have the opportunity to stumble across my post, even if they have not chosen to follow my business. In this way, hashtags serve two primary functions on Instagram. The first is visibility and the second is categorization of our content. Now, most people understand the visibility part of this equation. That is, if I was to actively search for a hashtag, I will see all the posts which have used this hashtag. So as a business, I might want to think about what hashtags I believe my customers are most likely to be searching so that I can appear in as many relevant hashtag topics as possible. Except when you really think about it, how often do you search by a hashtag? If you're on the hunt for some ascot rainbow, do you go to Instagram search bar and type ascot rainbow? Probably not. Probably that's a search you're saving for Google. So while search is a very important part of this, and you might be surprised to know that people do actually search by hashtags and even choose to actively follow certain hashtags, the true power of a hashtag actually goes beyond this. And this is where the categorization part of the equation comes in. So while Instagram does have some very advanced image recognition software, it can be helpful to think of your post when you upload it to Instagram as a blank white box. Assume that Instagram has no idea what's in the box until you tell it what's in there. You do this through your captions, any alt text, and of course through hashtags. We might touch on the other two another time, but focusing on hashtags for today. So let's say this is my post. If I was to use hashtag Garden Centre Australia, Instagram is going to start to get an idea of what's in the box. It's going, okay, it's a garden centre, it's in Australia, based on other information it's collected. Garden centres in Australia tend to look a certain way, so maybe the image looks something like this. Now, if the image I posted is something similar to this, then great, that's a perfect hashtag to use. But what if my image was this one? If so, this hashtag is still relevant. I'm still a garden centre in Australia. But we should really look at refining this down as well, as the people in this topic might be looking for Australian garden centres, but it doesn't necessarily translate that they're looking for roses as well. So to find people who might be looking for roses more specifically, we need to give Instagram an even clearer understanding of what's in the box. For example, hashtag pink roses, or perhaps even hashtag damask pink rose. In this way, the picture becomes even clearer for Instagram. This is important because then it has an even clearer understanding of what's in the box and therefore can accurately determine where best to place our content and who to suggest it to. So the more refined our hashtags, the better and more accurately our content can be categorized. And we want Instagram to work for us. We want it to suggest our content as often as possible and to as many of the right people as possible. And by suggest, I mean as follows. We know that as a personal user of Instagram, if we engage with certain content on the platform, Instagram gets an idea of what we like and tries to show us more of it. So I might not follow your business, but if I've been engaging with other garden center accounts, and Instagram understands that you offer very similar content to what I've been engaging with, it might start suggesting you in my discovery feed, and that's what we want. And by the way, if you're ever looking at your discovery feed and going, why the heck am I seeing this stuff? I don't like any of this stuff. Then blame the people that you engage with the most on the platform, because this suggestion part of the algorithm is actually really powerful. If you have a friend who is constantly sending you adorable pictures of puppy dogs, despite the fact perhaps you've never liked an adorable puppy picture in your life, puppies may regardless begin to slowly infiltrate your feed. This is because Instagram makes the assumption that if you like something, your friends are going to like it too. So basically, these are some of the other ways your content could be stumbled upon outside of just that specific topic that you have assigned it to through the hashtag. And therefore, we need to be selecting hashtags that are highly relevant not only to our business, but to the particular post that we are posting. What hashtags should I use? To know this, we need to identify your niche, research that niche, and then collect hashtags relevant to that niche. And by niche, I mean if you wanted to say one thing about what your business offers, what do you want it to be? So as an example, if you're running a fitness Instagram account, what kind of fitness? What is your focus? Perhaps your focus is on helping new mums regaining their strength and confidence after having a baby. That doesn't mean you're not offering multiple other services. That's just the primary focus you want to show for your business on Instagram, because it can be a lot easier to become the biggest fish in a particular refined pond rather than attacking that whole fitness ocean at once. So as a garden centre business, is there something especially you're known for or would like to be known for? The idea is to start narrower and then expand. You can start broad initially if you would like to. It just takes a little bit longer to find your audience as you're swimming in a much bigger pool, if that makes sense. When I go to your Instagram account, it should be immediately apparent to me what your business is about within the first 6 to 9 posts. Think of this kind of like your store window or shop front. What is it saying about your business? Let's say you run a garden centre and within it is a coffee shop, and the coffee shop staff are super enthusiastic and take lots of great photos. That's amazing, but if the bulk of your business is still in selling plants and in the garden centre side of things, if I was to come to your account and 7 or 8 out of say 9 of those posts are of the coffee shop, I'm A, not going to get an accurate representation of your business, and B, to use hashtags relevant to what's in your posts, you might start using hashtags like hashtag coffee time or hashtag coffee lover, which over time might overwhelm how the rest of your account gets categorized. In this scenario, I would be establishing a rule whereby for every 9 posts, say only 1 or 2 of them would show the coffee shop. How do we find good hashtags? Usually around this point, people are saying things like, well, that's lovely, Emily, but how do I actually find these hashtags? Well, we need to do some hashtag research. As a part of your journey to finding yourself and sorting out your niche, you'll likely have identified some competitor accounts or accounts that have the same focus as you, whose aesthetic you might like to emulate. Looking to these accounts, start by writing out a list of possible hashtags for a variety of situations for you to keep on file. That is garden centre general, plant specific, gardening services specific, etc. So great, now you have a list, and if we've picked accounts quite similar to us, we've likely got a pretty good list. But who's to say they know what they're doing? So it can be wise to do a little research into the hashtags before you use them. So take one of the hashtags from the list, search for it, bring up the topic, and have a look through what's already there. And then have a look at the following 3 things. Number 1, would the post I'm about to post blend seamlessly with what's already there? If yes, perfect. This means it's likely a highly relevant hashtag for your post. Because if you were going to stick out like a sore thumb, then this might not be the most relevant hashtag for you. People are coming to this topic with a certain expectation of what they're going to find, and your post is unlikely to be meeting it. Point 2, have a look into a few of the posts. For this exercise, make sure you're on the Recent tab. How long ago were these posts posted? A few hours ago, days ago, weeks ago? Alright, that's fine. But if it's been months or years since anyone has posted within this hashtag, then that reflects that this hashtag isn't very popular right now and may not reap you as many rewards currently. And then number 3, can I rank well in this hashtag? Now, our ultimate goal with any hashtag is that we want to rank really well within the hashtag. When we do, we land in this top post section for Instagram search, and that beautiful snowball effect of gaining more and more visibility happens for us because we haven't dropped down or disappeared in the feed. But here's the catch. In order to rank in the top posts, we need to have similar or higher level of engagement on our posts than the existing top posts in order to bump them from their spot. So let's start by working out your average engagement rate. To do this, head to your account and look at your last 9 posts. The quickest way to do this exercise is to actually look at your Instagram on desktop, so you can simply mouse over to see what your numbers are. Now I want you to add together all the likes and comments. In this example, that would mean 59, 69, and 192. Do this for 9 posts and take the average. So for example, let's say my average is 85. Keep that number in the back of your mind for 1 minute. Now we're going to go back to the hashtag we're interested in. So in this example, hashtag Gardens Australia. And look at the top 9 posts for this hashtag. Do the same exercise. Look at the top 9 posts, add together the likes and comments, find the average. In this example, that number is 92. So my number isn't far off the number in the top post, which is a great sign. When my number is higher than this number, if I use the hashtag, I'm going to have a really good chance of becoming a top post in it. If my number is lower, my chances are less. If it's significantly lower, then this might not be the right hashtag for me to be using. Of course, you can use it anyway. Remember that with any hashtag we use, so long as it is still highly relevant to our post or our business, it is still helping with the categorization piece of the content puzzle. It is definitely not all about ranking highly in this top post section. It's always a good idea to have a mix of difficulties and levels of popularity to your hashtags anyway. Having said that, see if you can find some relevant hashtags where your engagement is similar or higher to the top post within that topic, because this is really how you get that bigger tick of visibility and avoid being completely lost in the Instagram ocean. Of course, if your engagement rate is extremely low to start, this is going to be really tricky for you. If that is the case, worry less about being higher and just be conscious that you're not putting yourself in an extremely huge pool. That is to say, if your engagement rate is more like 20 or 30 and the top posts for the hashtag you're thinking of using are more like 5,000, 50,000, you might find more success if you try and find a hashtag where the top post engagement is more in the hundreds than the thousands. So for example, hashtag roses is extremely popular in this sense, but hashtag damask roses is less popular. You might have a better chance of ranking there while simultaneously still accurately supporting how you are categorized. Now this might feel like a lot of work, and trust me, I know. You may have heard of another method whereby you just look at the volume of posts and only use it if it's between 10k and 500k. The logic being you're finding hashtags that aren't super popular but still have some traction. So for example, the hashtag garden center has 300,000 posts in it. And this is an okay method to use. I would just say don't forget that this number is representative of the cumulative number of posts that have used this hashtag in all time. It doesn't on its own tell you if the hashtag is dead, currently popular, or if you have any chance of ranking in it. For example, there could be a hashtag that has millions of posts attached to it that you might actually rank really well in because it's not as competitive today. Equally, you might not be able to rank well in a brand new hashtag which only has, say, 15,000 posts in it because it's just too popular at the minute. Which is why, as painstaking as it can be, I tend to find the other method a bit more effective. You can still use this method if you like. I would just suggest not dismissing a hashtag if its number is really high or really low. Have a quick look at a few of the posts before making your decision. Now, if you want a way to streamline this part of the process with an app, I can suggest one called Hashtag Slayer app. Now, it's not a free app. It's going to set you back around $9 US per month. However, there is a free trial which you can use without any credit card commitment just to see if it's right for you. This app lets you search for a hashtag and then will suggest adjacent hashtags. It will even indicate how easy or hard it may be for you to rank for each hashtag. Easy being similar to those hashtags where your engagement was equal to or higher than the engagement within that hashtag. It will also let you know if a hashtag has been blacklisted or is dead, so you know to avoid it. In this way, you can quickly then create a group of hashtags with a mix of difficulties and save them out as collections for later. It also has a feature where you can plug in your competitor's handle and it will spit out some of the hashtags they've been using to give you some suggestions as well. Compared to other apps, I do like this app, but the reason I'm not telling you to just go for it is I still find some of the hashtags it's just to be quite broad, so you will still need to have a little look through the suggestions with a critical eye and cherry pick the really good ones. That said, it can certainly cut out some of that time involvement and is useful for helping to get those initial ideas. The competitive analysis tool is always interesting to play with, so if you're happy to take some of the suggestions with a little grain of salt, it certainly is faster than the manual method and might be a handy tool that works for you. How do I know which of my hashtags are working for me? Well, you need to review your analytics, and you're not going to like my answer for this one because Instagram's own analytics are pretty unhelpful in this space, which means if you're serious about understanding which hashtags are working for you, you're going to need to look at a third-party platform or app. But first, in terms of Instagram's own analytics, you may not know this, but within each individual post, you can click on Insights and it will tell you of the people who saw your post, how many of them came in via hashtags, Once you work out what number you typically get here on average, then you'll know when you do something really, really right when a post goes well above average in this category. Of course, this is an accumulation of all the hashtags you used on that particular post. So it doesn't tell you what result any individual hashtag might have been providing for you. That's where the third-party platforms come in. But before you spend your money, are you already paying for social media management platforms? So something like Hootsuite, Later, Sprout Social, etc. If you're unfamiliar with these are platforms that help you plan and pre-schedule your social media content. But depending on what plan you are on, a lot of them also offer analytics. For example, in Later, I can see how many impressions, likes, and comments came off the back of an individual hashtag for a particular post and then use that to make more informed decisions. So have a look if any of the platforms you are already paying for are offering you any of this information. How many hashtags should I use? For this, I would suggest you don't focus on a magic number. Instead, I would encourage you to follow 2 rules. The first is always use hashtags that are highly relevant and specific to the individual post and niche you are targeting. In this way, the right number will be different for each post. Some content is just going to have more relevant hashtags for you to pick from, and some will have less, and that's okay. Number 2, if you have found, say, 10 or 11 highly relevant hashtags and you're thinking, well, hey, I'm allowed 30, so let's just throw a bunch more in there. Pause. Because unless the hashtags you add are genuinely relevant to that post, you may be doing yourself a disservice by confusing your categories if you start by going broader and less relevant. If you have found 30 genuinely relevant hashtags, then by all means proceed. So if you have the time and interest, the hashtags that are refined and relevant are the ones that are going to help drive your visibility, engagement, and help your growth over time. One final tip for hashtags, and that is don't use the same hashtags every time. Instagram is on the hunt for suspicious behavior and bots. Due to this, if we post the same hashtags in exactly the same order for every single post, Instagram may find this suspicious, which will impact your engagement. Ideally, you would have a few new hashtags every few posts and mix your hashtags up fairly frequently. After all, to be relevant to each post, we'd be using a few post-specific hashtags, right? But naturally, this is all time-consuming, so I understand the temptation to just put them on a notepad and copy-paste them each time. If you want to use the same hashtags every time, I still encourage you to simply mix up the order from time to time, just to avoid potentially being flagged. So that's it for today. I hope this has given you a deeper understanding of hashtags. As always, any questions, please send them through. We'd love to help you out. Until then, see you next time.